Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new live session of Customily, a very special and very spooky live session as we're going to get into a first Halloween special of this month. So to get started, let's let people into the room and wait a couple more minutes while we play some music.
Step into the future, get ready to ignite. Customly's the engine, taking you to new heights. Personalization power, the best you've ever seen. We're rocking the e-commerce scene, living the dream. No limits, no borders, creativity unleashed. From names to crosswords, your products find their niche. Customily's the best, we're leading the race. No app can match us, we're setting the pace. Features so many, we're ahead of the game. With support that's legendary, remember the name. Need live previews, we've got your back. Dynamic designs, there's nothing we lack. From tees to mugs, from frames to tees, Customily's the partner your store really needs. Innovation's our motto, your growth is our goal. With tools so advanced, we're in total control. Customily's the best, we're leading the race. No app can match us, we're setting the pace. Features so many, we're ahead of the game. With support that's legendary, remember the name. So if you're chasing sales and aiming for the sky, join the Customily family, it's time to amplify. We'll take you higher, set your brand apart. With endless options, we're the e-commerce heart. Customily's the best, we're leading the race. No app can match us, we're setting the pace. Features so many, we're ahead of the game. With support that's legendary, remember the name. Customily, the top of the charts. Transforming every product, winning customers' hearts. With rock vibes and passion, we'll always be true. Customily's the app made just for you.
Okay, everyone, welcome to this new live session. We are ready to get started right away. This is a very spooky live session. We're going to be covering our first glimpse of Halloween and how to start working with Halloween personalization. So we're going to do a lot of announcements today. We're going to show you new features, new trending products and ideas, and we are going to kickstart this particular season of the year. So before we get started, let me introduce you the team today. We have a full team in-house now. We are going to be your host today, and together with me co-hosting will be Shoffrey joining the stage. We also have Josefina on the chat with all the marketing team tips and help around with all the questions and the links to get started, and as well as Cecilia also on the chat, managing everything, making sure everything goes smooth and perfect. So today's agenda will be to first let you know of the new features we have released in the past weeks. We have now pre-made shapes for warped texts, and also we have a solid background tool. That's a great new feature for those that seek to generate a quick background color that can change actually by customers, or you can control that. That's amazing, and we have that quickly set up in a new feature. So we're going to show you how to create a design using these new features. Also, we're going to give you some tips to start building your Halloween sales, some preparations for that foundation that will be your platform to launch these products on this season, right? Some great new products we're going to be giving you now, those that are trending, okay? And focus on a tutorial. As always, we try to give you something interesting, something new. So today we're going to create a yard sign, can also be a garden flag. Okay, can be working perfectly well for both applications. We're going to give you a quick example with a special extra bonus at the end. So stick to the tutorial and check it out because the end will be really useful to you. Of course, we always give space for Q&A, so prepare your questions as we go along. Right, so let's welcome Joffrey to stage to start working about and talking about the new features we have released recently.
Hello, Jose. Thank you very much for hosting and having me back on again. And welcome everyone to the spooky season, to the spooky live session. Let's get down to this. Amongst our new features, our newest features, you know that Customily always comes with new features to make the designing and product releasing easier and beneficial for you guys. We now have solid background elements that let you easily add a solid color or solid color options to your designs, so your clients can keep the colors fixed or play with those between multiple preset options. So you can do this and include backgrounds, solid color backgrounds from coming from libraries that you have created, or create them directly on the template or on the design. So this is something that has been highly requested. There were workarounds for that in the past, but no more. Now it's at the at the second of a click. Um,
Yes, definitely. Usually what customers did was to manually create a SVG or EPS file that was just a rectangle or a square, basically a solid figure, and then upload that as a dynamic vector and turn that into a single color. So that process has been reduced to one click, as Joffrey says. And especially those that were not very familiar on creating vectors now have everything summarized in one big button there to get started with.
Absolutely. And additionally, it has been highly requested to have pre-made shapes for text warp, and we hear you and we please you. Before, or in the past, you had to create your warp text and shape them manually, but now you have preset. And before you carry on creating them, you can start by with the bubble, with a bow tie, and there are other shapes that you can start tweaking and customizing your pre-made warped text and tweak them a little, if you will, to adapt to the shapes that you have in your canvas, or create newer and match warp text as well, depending on the design that you're trying to create. But take a look at these pre-made shapes and add them to your designs and create unique products for your clients with these newest and updated features.
Definitely. And we're going to see on the tutorial which shapes are available, and you'll be surprised because one of the most requested feature was actually the rectangle, because the warping will always cover the whole box. So people were really interested in using the warped text as a whole filled with text kind of box, right? And now you have that as one of the shapes requested. Now, to get started with the sales foundation for your Halloween season, we have some tips for you that we want to share. Of course, you can always replay this video and try to do your checklist to see where are you standing right now and what is it that you're missing. But all these tips are all amazing. You can implement all of them, some of them, whatever you want. Remember, this is our insights of how you should position yourself on this upcoming season. First of all, we recommend you choose your hero products, your flagship products that you know will best sell during Halloween, right? For example, of course, they can also be personalized. It's very common that you see mugs, tumblers, T-shirts, doormats. It's very useful. Remember that a lot of Halloween action happens on the doorsteps of every house. So doormats are really high selling this time of the year, and customizing them is super easy and super challenging and amazing. So you can get really creative on that area. Of course, posters are also welcome and very sell a lot. And the example we're going to be doing today, the yard signs or garden flags, also are great decorations because actually you can start replacing those signs as every year and every new theme will show up. Okay. Big products, your POD partner can fulfill smoothly. If you're working with print-on-demand providers, make sure they can accommodate the dates to sell those products, right? They have enough stock or enough. It's has a lot of providers, for example, a lot of suppliers. It's very important to check that to know if they will be able to deliver the high demand on Halloween. Also, when designing your collections, pay attention to what is actually seasonal, right? So, for example, get those designs ready early and show up with that collection before anyone. So, right, so you start to see collections. You can start to see that on supermarkets and any convenience store. You start to see items in special shelves for Halloween. So by introducing those collections early, you start to alert people to pay attention to what's going on for Halloween, right? So offering multiple templates with the spooky icons, the family names, the pets, that's always going to be really cool. And those designs that will work across several products for cross-selling. So remember that maybe the same design for the doormat can apply to the garden flag and so on, right? That way you can always try to bundle and cross-sell the same design.
Sorry, my mic was off. So start hunting your clients and get your store ready for the spooky season by optimizing your storefront and making it look festive and conversion ready. When you start creating and optimizing the banners and the themes and the listings that you have in your store, it will be easier for your clients to track the catalogs and the products that you are creating and the designs that you're offering for this season and for the upcoming seasons as well. When you include in the product descriptions keywords or SEOs that are easy to track, you are increasing the chances that your clients will reach the products in your store or outside the store on the search bar that they wish to use. Make sure you include Halloween related words and keywords. We've been using them throughout this season, something like spooky, haunted, ghost, fear, or whatever. So try to include these words amongst your product descriptions and your product listings or the designs that you're using, so your clients can start playing with these options and they can browse through the products that you're offering and the amazing designs that you're including. It's not only that, make sure that whatever it is that you're creating, whichever flow, whichever funnel, or whichever landing page that you create for this season or for these particular products, make sure that you test them out before and check the checkout flow. Avoid last minute glitches because your client's experience is what's going to grant them a comeback. So they will come back for more or they will recommend. And make sure that you test live previews on mobile and desktop. Make sure that the previews that you're using are matching whatever it is that you're offering, and tweak the option sets that you create within Customily to match whatever description or the actual result that you're targeting. Double check the products that you're creating and the purchase process, and make sure that you're granting a great experience for your clients so they can come back. We are nearing Thanksgiving. We are nearing also Christmas. So if you test out and you create a great experience, your clients will come back for more for the upcoming seasons.
Definitely, and the structure is the same as Customily will. Once Customily gets to work on your store, gets to work on all products that you use that on. So, um, like Shafri said, you can enable certain changes to your option set, to your styles in the store. So buttons will change colors along the way, but those are things that you can easily do with Customily. So as you are using this instance to test out, as Shoffrey says, you will be certain that you will have the base structure ready to go for the upcoming events of quarter four, definitely. And along that side, definitely you should start launching marketing campaigns early. Right as while we are talking about this 1.5 months before the actual date, even though stores will close up or will stop delivering at some point. But this is, we probably know you have started already with this. We're just helping you build that foundation. So get your campaigns ready to go right away. Start those warnings, right? Like show the collection first, or maybe announce the collection to generate expectations, right? So there's a small banner that will say, stand out, our Halloween collection will be launched tomorrow, in 2 days, with a countdown, whatever, something that will get that hype for Halloween ready to go, right? Those emails, those teasers can be emails, can be banners, right? Halloween is coming and stuff like that. And of course, if you start sharing some early previews on your social media, use that social media. If you have the design ready to go, you are still testing out a checkout, as we said before, but you have the idea, you have the end design ready to go, so that can be used for generating expectations on social media, right? So coming along this design, and so that way when people actually get to see that and customize that, the impact is really good. Of course, talking earlier about the keywords and the SEO and organic reach, we mentioned that certain words will definitely trigger certain search results, and your titles for the products should include that. And if you think about it, if you have been doing some searches on Halloween, you use those words without actually not even realizing that. We actually use those words looking for the assets for today, looking for some images for our kids' school work that they're preparing for Halloween. So you start to type scary, spooky, monster, those keywords, that we start using without realizing. So those are the words that they should trigger this SEO search in the first place. So you should be aware of those words and use them in your advantage. Shafri, can you check your?
Thank you. It was off. So yes, when you include these keywords that are targeted for SEO, and you are targeting your product creation, you'll make it easy for your clients to find the trending products that are evergreen. We always recommend recycling the bestseller products that you have in your store, and don't refrain from the bestsellers from all the time. These are classics: mugs, tumblers, and t-shirts, for example, when it comes to personal use. But it is you who's gonna add a tweak to it. It is you who's gonna add a twist to the design that you're including. We discussed earlier today about trendy designs or things that you can create within Customily. Later on, we will talk about that a little more. But make sure that you recycle and use the evergreen and bestseller products like the doormats, posters, and or woven blankets, and include keywords, key images that your clients can easily track, or suggestions, or can create it while creating your spooky or fearful catalogs.
Definitely. And as you see these trending products, we mentioned the doormats. Always keep in mind those products. And of course, including that in the title will definitely make an impact. Now, if you need more inspiration on these ideas, we have a Halloween collection in our official demo store. So check out some really cool designs we have created with our illustration team that are available for free on our Customily Designs collection, and also check some cool products, because it's not just the design we put together for you to inspire you, it's also the way we use those in certain products to also get you inspired and see how things change. In particular, we have this example of the blanket, as Shafri was mentioning, and you really get the Halloween vibes. So check out our official demo store for more inspiration. And so I think we're going to get started right with our tutorial. Now, this tutorial will have a couple of parts, different from our next upcoming live session. We're going to think of this product as something we will manufacture ourselves, without any print-on-demand intermediation. We're going to try to give you the steps if you're going to be producing this on your own. And also, we're going to give you some cool tips on what you see at the last part, AI mockups. So we're going to teach you an interesting way, among many other ways across the web right now, to create really cool mockups using the Customily results. So as you can see, these examples we're going to show you right now had a little AI intervention at the end to generate those cool mockups and main listing photos, right? So remember that your gallery is the first thing people will see. They will browse through the pictures, they will understand what they're about to buy, and then they will customize. And when they customize, they see a front direct view of the product. But before that, they checked your entire gallery. So there's a very powerful tool having the gallery there. And if you can put as many cool images as possible, that's even better. So let's get started by showing you what we want to do and giving you some steps to replicate that. And also then you're going to always improve what we do in the first place. Let me stop my presentation and share my screen. First of all, what we're going to create is a Halloween custom yard sign or custom flag, garden flag, depending on the assets you can get, the mockups you can provide. Also, we're going to be working on, because this is a yard sign, it's going to be on a landscape proportion, but you can also work on portrait. Usually, garden flags are portrait proportion, but the idea is the same, right? So we have some cool assets to share with you. And the product is basically this, is a yard sign, yeah? And as you can see, we have changed it a bit, the mockup, to go with the season. So as you can see, we have a couple of pictures in our gallery in which you see two designs that coexist on the same product. And you can see that we have some background, really cool background when we see this. In fact, the background actually changes to give you that that realistic case scenario, in which we presented this. And this text will be completely free, or you can actually set up certain pre-made phrases. So to start designing this, we have an option. We either have a pumpkin design or a haunted house design. If I go to the pumpkin design, yeah, you see this. Now, my end mockup was not as spooky as the ones we did with the AI. But the cool thing is, once you do the AI, you can quickly cut out whatever you use as your content and use that mockup for your end result. Remember, in Customily, you can always swap mockups. So we're going to do something like that today. Now, this is my pumpkin design, and I have a top text and a bottom text. Now, the top text has three options. I think I had four because I wanted to say Happy Halloween, but actually we put this. Now, when you have a drop down, you see something, you can input drop down values and connect them to the text element. So basically, whatever I pick goes straight to this. It will go straight to the text as content. If I were to change this, you see how it changes right away. Or I can go and say custom text. And the custom text will trigger the custom text itself. And I can say here, yeah. Right. So this is a warped text in a rectangle shape. predefined by Customily. Now, on the custom bottom text, we're going to use that particular hill that we see on the design and do something like this, right? So this is my custom text, and it shapes because I actually took the globe shape and I actually adjusted the bottom, but you get this design. We're also going to share with you the fonts, which are really cool. And this is basically our design. But if we switch to the haunted house design, we keep the same text options. We just change the background and change the frame. You see the frame, the black frame we use has trees and small houses. And also on the pumpkins, we have, well, basically black frame and pumpkins. So this is really cool. As you can see, we play with a couple of designs with single images, try to combine options, and the text have changed. They have changed the font, and they have also changed the shape. Now this is going to be an elliptic warping, and it's going to be at the bottom will be rectangle. So we're going to create something like this. Sounds complex, but it's going to be really easy and fast. To get started with this, we're going to create a product base. Remember, we are going to be working from scratch. We don't have anything. We have our manufacturing workshop, and we need to manufacture our garden sign, right? So we have the cardboards, and we're going to cut them in a very specific shape. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial and based on the mockup we already have the specifications of our products. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the My Product Bases, and I'm going to create a new product base. We're going to call this live session garden sign. Garden sign. The reason why I don't put any Halloween or something like that is because basically my garden sign will always be that, a garden sign. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that product base to put Halloween designs so I can create my Halloween listings for this product. Maybe in a month, I'm going to create Thanksgiving designs and use the same product base. And then I'm going to create holidays and Christmas designs and use the same product base. That's the advantage. We only have to do this once, as long as we match the product we are actually fabricating, right? So let's switch this to inches and put the, so we had this 41.67 by 27.78. I know this is a very big sign, but we could actually reduce the proportions. We just wanted this to be accurate to our mockup. Let's say we have our yard sign ready. Let's say we know we're going to be exporting this on a PNG format, 300 dpi. Okay, that's going to be our export format, right? If I were, we're going to try to do this in PDF instead, right? So we're going to export this as a PDF. That's the information we have from the printing part of our product. And then we click next, and we set up the preview part. So basically we're going to try to see this print area on the actual mockup to better get the idea of what we are customizing. So for that, we need to click on the Add Product Images and pick up, well, this one. I think this is the one to use. Yeah. All right. So this is our background image, which is the product image of this. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly and gently adjust this to be matching our, and using my keyboard to move this like that. Okay, so pretty much this is it. Yeah, and our print area will be covering the extension. If you are going to be printing with certain bleed, you can make sure this bleeds out just what you need. See, this is too much. This may be it. Now, in order for you to not see the bleed, you can have the same background image, but as a foreground image with transparency. So basically, we add a mask. The mask can be a completely different image or an image that will shape everything except the actual design. Very common when we have pillows, when we have blankets, when we have certain textures we want to put on top. So if we were to add an image as a mask, we can use the same mockup. As you can see, this mockup has transparency on the center, and that will be our mask. You see, our mask will be solid on everything that is background and will be transparent in whatever has to be printable. Yeah, so this is basically a PNG. What we do is we fit to the canvas and basically nothing changes. But if we need to compensate this bleed, we hide it by using the mask. Very common also on canvas, on gallery wrap canvases, very common on, like I told you, pillows and even mouse pads. You know, mouse pads have like the corners rounded. Those things are all done with a shape, with a mask shape like that, right? Which is basically the same image, but we actually made transparent whatever we want to show as the real shape of the product. So this is our product base. We don't need to do anything else. We just need to go next and save it. We only have one variant, which is a white version, right? Eventually you can just remove this variant. It won't make any difference. We just need to create a variant in the process with Customily, but that may not be necessary for you to keep later on if it doesn't relate to any SKUs or any stock or inventory. Yeah, let's say the product now. We have a product. We now go and create the design for this. Today is going to be a Halloween design. Tomorrow is going to be a Thanksgiving design. And the day after tomorrow will be a holiday design. So we go to our design collection, our My Designs, in which we're going to create a design. I'm going to call, this is going to be the Halloween garden flag, garden sign. Yeah. So live session, let me call this live session. Actually, we're going to call this Halloween pumpkins and houses. Right. So basically that's the content of the design. Let's create this. By default, we start with a big canvas, you know, and we didn't pull the specs because it's our own product. We can pull specs from POD products, but we can actually resize this. We also have the information, so we can actually generate this in the exact same proportion as we have our garden sign product. So we are certain that our design is fitting into every single part. Of course, our images already have this proportion, and yours should do that as well, right? It will be complicated if you bring frames or images that have different aspect ratio, because you will start to try to cut out from pieces. Ideally, you will have your images in the right aspect ratio to fit your needs. So how do we get this started? First of all, we're going to create one frame and one background, which is the haunted house or the pumpkin. Then we have another frame with the other design, and then we create the text elements. After that, we separate them into layouts. Layouts will be different versions, design versions, as we see here. These are layouts. So let's go and do the pumpkin design first. So for that, basically what we do is we have the assets already. So we create a dynamic image. Yeah, that's the dynamic image. Let's fit to the canvas. And in that dynamic image, we will add our background image, which in this case will be the wizard pumpkins to begin with. Yeah. So pumpkin, that one. Okay. So that's our pumpkin design. Perfect. We are missing, this is going to be the pumpkin image. Then we are going to just click done and generate another dynamic image, fit to the canvas, so it's as big as the whole thing. And in this image, we will have the frame. We have the frame of the pumpkins, which is this one, right? So that's the frame. So far, so good. We have everything we need for this design, except we have a transparent background, right? We are missing something. We're missing a solid background, something that we gives us like a back to print this properly. So let me call this the. So let's create our first solid background. But we just click here, and the system takes a second and generates that. In fact, not only if it generates that, I actually push that all the way down to the bottom. And this is basically a dynamic vector that we can actually unlock if we need to. And also set this to have a library or multiple colors. Yeah. Right. So basically you can actually change colors. Actually, I changed all the same colors at the same time. So I'm just, showing you right. So this will create a background option for your customers to choose from. Right. Let's try to do this a bit more spooky, a bit more Halloween related, right? So we have a gray, which is the one we use originally. We're going to have this one. Could be some. Actually, I like this one, or maybe we can have a orange, just like that. All right. So we have something like that, so customers will be able to play with this. Yeah. Okay. So now we have the background. There you go. And finally, we need to put the text. So let's create a WordPress text. When we create a WordPress text for the first time, we get to see these two curves. It's basically the effect we want to generate. And so you can actually see this easier. I'm going to just put some color on this. I'm going to put a, let's see, just for now, let's go really red. Oh, no, this is not very easy to see. Right, I just want you to see the text as we play around with this. So now these are the new shapes we offer. Bow tie, this is the original one, the first one we begin. We have the arc, which will flat top and curve the low one. Bubble will curve both. Wave, now let's try with that one. This one, the arc goes like this, and the rectangle will flat like that. If you don't want to size this, edit this anymore, and you want to try to size it, you disable the edit, and you see now the bounding box will turn into a regular text bounding box. So you can actually, adjust this like that. Okay, so let me check which how we did this. So this one is going to be a rectangle, correct? So this rectangle will be here, but we may want to adjust this. So in the transform area, we can actually adjust this like that. So this will, let me try to type something else. Yes, it will. Right, okay, so that's the text originally. So if we do this, that's true. All right, so all caps, I'm going to call this all caps first, and then happy Halloween. Okay, of course this may not be the perfect solution as it's pretty narrow. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make sure this goes like this. Yeah, so now it's on the right width. And if we turn this rectangle, right? Oh, it's actually pretty big. So I think what it's trying to take here is trying to get into the largest. It's trying to fit our largest text. That's why it pulls out. We're going to just make sure we start. Let's start with, I think it's going to be the height I want to cover. I want to be able to generate an object that is, oh, they told me I had this bad written. Okay, perfect. So this will be pretty much what we want to do, like that. Yeah. Now it's going to be a rectangle, perfect, and it's going to be a wrap text. The only thing we just need to do, finish this, is select the font. The font we're going to be using, to be honest, I don't know what the name is because it's the preview is cut out. Right, but this is the one. It was a CF here, right? So that one, that's our Halloween. If we actually want this to be a bit taller, what we can do is we can adjust this. This is always something we can do. Make it a bit bigger, and then like flat the rectangle again, and it starts to go a bit bigger. As long as we slowly try to get the best result like that, it was going to work. The same goes this. We make it just a bit taller, and rectangle, it will start to go this way. Once we're done, I'm just trying to get the right shape. Okay, just like that. Okay, perfect. So now let's put some color, because we actually have more features available for you on the WordPress text. Not only just the shapes, but actually you can now add more color options, and you can add stroke. So for the color options, let's go and change this into a gradient now. Let's go for the 90 degrees, this one. Let me see if I can remember. We actually tested some really cool colors for Halloween, yeah. So that will generate that cool effect. And also in the stroke, we're going to be using a stroke. Let's say this is this color, yeah. And we need to establish a width. So I'm going to generate this. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. This is a really cool design. You see it's starting to shape up. And now we're going to create another one. This is going to be the top text. We're going to create another text box, which is going to be, sorry, that one is actually a common text box, a WordPress text box. This will be a bubble, yeah? We're going to change the color to, let's say, a flat color. We're going to go for this one. Yeah, that also had a, and I think we should also have a stroke for this. Yeah. And this should also be all caps. So let me go here. Now this is going to be a custom message, you know. Yeah, custom text. It's better. The font is going to change. The font will be, we have this font here, this one, monster font. Perfect. Let's double check the stroke. Double checking transparency, apply. All right, that's the one. Okay, so this is our custom text, but we started with this curved shape, but we definitely want to make some adjustments. Let's first of all resize this to the limits we want to do, which is the heel. If you recall, we had this like that, yeah. And obviously we're going to push this up a bit, and then we're going to edit this. And probably what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this just a bit, just to make sure we are matching the curve. We also have this to be, it could be flat or not, or we can even push this just up so the pumpkins don't get that bad. All right, so that could be our custom text. And this is our first design. So what do we do when we have a first design? We grab all these together, yeah, and we create a layout, right? The layout is called the pumpkin design, yeah, and we can pretty much duplicate this to generate another version and change a couple of things. So we create another design, which is going to be the haunted house design. Okay, so this one we need to do a couple of changes. We definitely need to change our image. So our image, we click on this small thumbnail and we actually change the image instead of adding a new one. And the frame also should change. Let me go ahead and get this really quick. So like that. Now the haunted house, we have another frame, so we're going to use that. It has small houses. Now this text configuration is not quite interesting to the design itself. If you recall in our example, the haunted house actually changed this and this. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the fonts, you know, but this one, we just turn this into a rectangle, yeah. This could actually be smaller, so we're going to just try to make it smaller like this, and also make it a rectangle again. If you actually want this to be longer, well, basically all you have to do is shape it this way, just like that. Yeah, and the text will be a rectangle, just like that. And in the case of this one, we're going to turn this into an arc. And if you actually want this to be more pronounced, yeah, or actually you want to push this a bit and push this down, maybe like that. You can always change, but starting with something always helps. This actually goes pretty, yeah, so this could be a very good way. We don't do any other changes, you know, we just maybe this one should be up a bit, just like that. But this is pretty much what we want. We want a top, oh, this one should be, sorry, this one should be bottom text. Correct. And also here, make sure you see how as we change the layout, we see everything change. The content is the same, so basically if I change anything, we will change the other thing around, but at least we get to select two very different designs right away. So we're going to save this, and on the options, we're going to add some extra phrases, you know, and this is so you can see how easy it is. So let's say done, perfect. So we're finished with this. The system will generate the options automatically by reading what we have created. If we have multiple fonts, if we have multiple colors, right? So we click on the edit options here just to see what the system understood we want to offer. Okay, so we open the preview, right? And we have this. We have the layout and we have the background color. So when we pick haunted house design, we get the top and bottom text. And when we pick the pumpkin, we also have those top and bottom, basically. Probably what we want to do is we want to make sure the solid color is all the way down. And in fact, if we click here, we may change this. Okay. Now for the top, these two hidden options are basically to trigger the view of one or the other. Now you can see that hidden options show better and you understand what is hidden and what's not. You can even preview them just to understand what we're talking about. Yeah, but they are actually hidden always. So we need to just make sure it's hidden again. Okay, so what if we want to add to the top text the chance that is not always custom? For sure, it has preloaded options. We create that option itself. We click here on the add option, and it creates a new text input, which we perfectly don't need right now, but we want this to be on the top here. Now this text input, we're going to change it in here to a drop down. Yeah, let me show you a reset right now. So yeah, let me close the preview, open again. So this is our new option here. Okay, so this new drop down will be select top text message. And that, because it's a drop down, you will be able to add drop down values. So first of all, let's go for the easy happy. Right, let's go for the second one. Recovering and remembering something wicked this way. Let me see. Is all right. I wanted to see if I could copy paste. All right, something. All right, second value. Third one, enter if you're there. Okay, right. Enter, third one, enter if you're there. And finally, but we're missing the last one, which is custom message. That's the one we want to keep for the chance to get this top text to show up. So this top text has to be conditioned, not to show on the first layout, but basically to show on the select top text, and make sure that this only shows on custom message. Yeah, so far that's the only thing we need to do. Yeah, and you know, the other text elements dependent to show on selecting at least one layout. In the layout, we should change this to select spooky design. Yeah, I know, something like that. Yeah, and so we should make sure that our select top text message will be like the bottom message, depends on our drop down to show. Yeah, so to make sure that like options show as you keep making changes, all you have to do is make sure that when it says top text here, select the top text, will be conditioned to show if this first layout selector is just any value. And the same goes with the background color. Maybe everything should start showing depending on your first choice. So if we go to the background color and we just add a condition to show whenever any value is selected, we make sure that you only see this. If you pick haunted house, you have top message, bottom message, and the background color. If you pick any of these, the text will go to that, and custom message will show the top text. If we go to haunted, it's pretty much the same. Now, one last thing we didn't do is, remember the top text needs to work with the text element on the design. For that, we have the function. The function is telling us that whatever we type in here in the top text will go to the text item number 4. Now, if this same function, we put it on our dropdown, we make sure that whatever value we have on the dropdown goes to the text number 4. So we locate this dropdown in here, and we add a function. Usually dropdowns don't have function unless they have like layout visibility and stuff like that. But if we add a text function to the dropdown, we are sending every single value to the text. So we make sure it's number 4. Yeah. And that's a really cool thing, because now you can, instead of generating the hidden text with the initial value and stuff like that, you put everything very simple on a dropdown. And adding more phrases will be really fast and really easy, because you come here and you just add another drop-down value and so on, or you modify any of those. And so it's a less work for you. It's a lesser chance to make mistakes. Let's save this. And we are just 2 clicks away of having our garden sign ready. We go to the start section. We publish a new product. We pick from our product basis and go for the live session, this one. Okay, and no variants, only one. Let's add the design, make sure it's our design, this one. When we apply the design, it should fit perfectly. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, looking very good. Confirm, and let's create the product. Now, we're not finished with this. Remember, we're going to create better views of our product later as a mockup. Let's wait just 1 minute to get this done. And good to go. So this is our finished product. We may change, of course, the name, and we definitely want to change the background, the image of the product. So let's call this the custom Halloween garden sign. Enter. Yeah. Okay, that sounds like a good thing to do. We check this. See, this is the options we put together. Yeah, it could be something, right? As much as one. And we also can change this, this can be interesting. Yeah, let's go with this. So usually what we can do is make sure this is the product image we show at first. Sounds good. Everything works perfectly well, but this is what we do. But this is not very Halloween style. So what if we go to the edit product details? When we edit the product details, we can actually change a couple of things, the price, the description, but we can also upload an image from our drive, our computer. So how do we create this image? And this is the interesting part. Let me show you very quickly what you can do here. I'm going to open another Customily tab because I want you to see the template. Yeah. So the template here, the one that was created for this product is this one, right? This is a garden sign, Halloween pumpkins and houses. Now, this is something that you can do at any point, but the reason I want to go inside the template is because at any point you can take any image and use it for mockup purposes, right? If you want a full image with the product, you go to the second step and you click when it says download image. Now, if you want an image that will be serving mockup generator, you go to the first step because the first step only has the information for printing. So here what we're going to do is we're going to input a couple of text, like for example, I'm just trying to replicate like that, right? So that's the thing we create. In fact, the background had a this one, yeah. Or let's keep it like this, yeah. So what we do is we download the image, yeah. Download that image. Let's show this is going to be our base for mockup 1. Okay, and now this is the cool thing. Let's create a new image to upload here in the Customily process of finishing this product, right? We're just one description and price away and image away to do this properly. So the tool we're going to present you today is one of many, but it's one that we have been working with our marketing team. It's their a really great suggestion that I have been exploring, and it goes like this. You need to get into Google AI Studio, right? This works with Gemini, and it gives you the chance to request something and attach a file, okay? So what do we do here? As an example, we can type in here and we can type this. We're going to say generate a product mockup for this garden sign. We can specify this that is place it on a Halloween themed garden. And all right, so it looks realistic. Now, so very important to set the style, and very important, we must specify that the garden flag, the garden sign, should be the protagonist of the image. Otherwise, it will generate a huge garden and the sign will be very small. So we need to make sure that we specify something like this. So it's a guideline for the AI Studio to make sure that it doesn't go through the branches and creates something that the garden itself is, the garden sign is not the protagonist. So now we're going to add the image. It's the one we just added, which is the base for mockup number 1, this one, yeah. And when we have this done, yeah, we run this. It takes a few seconds. It's really amazing. Of course, you have way more advanced and powerful tools. Go ahead and go for it. But the cool thing is that you have a prompt to get started with. See, this is one example. Let me just show you this. Of course, this sign, you see, even this is pretty cool, actually. It took the image and the information we had and generated everything around. So this could be actually a really interesting thing. We can even try to reprompt this with a slide perspective, or maybe adjust this zoom to make sure that it shows even less of the place around. But you can download this and you can cut out whatever you don't need. This is what I did, for example, in the example I showed you at the beginning. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use mine. So, but basically, it generated something very similar to that. In fact, this actually looks really cool because it has a wooden stick. So it's not like one of those from metal frame. But let me show you what it created for me when we did the testings. It would created something like this. Oh, this is a very different message, but it has the same concept. We just bring this image here. Yeah, and it created a house and some pumpkins, and I just cut out whatever I just didn't need, and make sure it was a square and everything was fine. This is one example. Yeah, we can download this. You know what? Let's download this and use this one just to use this. We also always we have this option here, as well as we have the option on the e-commerce side. Yeah, well, let's see. What is that? Oh, there it is. Okay. Just like that, right? So this is our new image, and save the product. Back to the reviewing stage. In the reviewing stage, we're just going to save it as we go. Don't mind if this resets. We go and we publish, and everything is working. And we also kickstart with a really cool main listing photo. Even if we then go and we adjust our actual customization page looks like this with the grass and everything. We can actually change that. Remember that. So this is our listing photo. Yeah. As I told you, we can shape this to be more of a square, and the reason why I would recommend you do that is because when we click this and we go haunted house, you see actually this, which may kill the mood. So if you cut out whatever information you have and you go back to the template, remember this is the template. Let's go next. Let me show you what we can actually do. Even though the product base didn't have this image in the beginning, remember your product base is focused on an evergreen garden sign. But what if we just grab our product image for just this template and we replace it with a spooky version that I actually have here? And we're going to share this with you, right? Probably it's not going to be aligned perfectly, but we're going to just put it anywhere. Also the mask, we need to change it as well. Make sure the mask also has transparency. That one. Oh, okay, just perfect. Okay, let me just lock the mask, lock the product image, select, select whatever is unlocked, and make sure this goes like this. So you see now our mockup is starting to show better. Our mockup has this background effect. All I had to do is take an AI image, remove whatever it generated in the first place, and just replace that in Customily for the template I'm using for Halloween purposes. That's all. And so I save this, and we're good to go. Let me just make sure this saves, and we're going to refresh our product. Now, these extra steps we're showing you today is because sometimes you want really eye-catching mockups, and you also want to change certain standard product mockups, right? So this is our product main listing photo. Maybe you can have like a full gallery full of images of the different designs, different options, different titles. Okay, you see how this, probably I hit that in the last. Now this looks more Halloween, and that's what I want to do. And that's it. Custom Halloween garden sign. All right, so let's now this is, you see the difference in the effect definitely changes when you have a background that goes with you. Let's see what we have in the questions, and let's open the Q&A time.
Thank you, Jose, for that amazing and spooky product creation. It's a nice design and great inspiration for everyone out here. The only questions that we have here is, can you change the main product image for Etsy listings?
Yes, actually, you can. Is For any platform that works with that 2.0 system of creating product bases and designs, you get a chance to define the main listing of the picture when the product is created. Right after you save the draft or you publish the product, you don't go back to that page. So any future changes will have to be done through the platform backend, right? Through Shopify or through Etsy. That for WooCommerce, it's the same. Now, if you have those images or you generate those images, you can upload that in that instance in Customily. You can go to edit products, in that final revision, and you can upload the picture. You can change the description, change the products, set the prices, everything. Yeah, that's the point in which you can upload something from your computer, or you can just customize something, and that preview you can set it to be the main listing. After that, if you take your time later to generate all the mockups, you can just go to the back end of your platform and replace those images with the new images.
Amazing. Well, thank you. That was the only question that we had for today.
All right. So when the video is actually uploaded, you will have all these assets. You will have the fonts. You will have the frames, the images that you can play around with those, and of course use your own. I believe that this is just the kickoff for you to get more creative than I can get in 1 hour. For any further questions, make sure you reach out to our support team using all the channels available. We have emails at support@customily.com. We have a live chat that opens during EST business hours. So it's always a chance to talk directly to our agents. And also join our Facebook communities, because there's a lot of sharing and advising and a lot of announcements, and every single tip and tool people get to play with, every single new feature gets presented there. It's a really great chance to learn more about Customily. So to end this live session, thank you, Cecilia and Josefina on the chat, as always, answering really quickly and sharing every detail and every link we have. Thank you, Joffrey, for co-hosting with me, as always. And well, we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much for having me, Jose. Thank you, everyone, for being here. See you on our next
See you on our next Halloween-related live session in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.